Good morning, Starshines. My name is DH, my pronouns are they, them, and this is the Cozycast, episode 8. Today is Saturday, June 1st, and yeah, it's been a pretty exciting 2 weeks, so let's get into it. I've got some projects to share with you, some hibernating whips that finally came back into rotation. Gigi's here. I've got a new start, very exciting. So let's take a look. So the projects. I've got a ton of stuff to show you guys. I'm very excited about all of it. But let's start off with a finish. I think I showed this off on the last Cozycast. It wasn't quite done. It wasn't a super long stitch, but I'm really proud of it because it's one of my own. So this is Cozy Bob. So Cozy Bob, as you can see, he's ready for fall. He's got his PSL, he's got his beanie, he's got his lovely sweater, and he is completely done. I love him. I'm so happy about him. I think I talked a little bit last time about the design process and just how I'm so proud of him. But he came together so well, and I'm so happy with him. So yeah, so that is Cozy Bob. Pattern is now available in the Etsy and the coffee shop, and I will be designing some more bobs in the future. It was a pretty quick stitch, very simple palette, I think 11 colors, and I just did them on 14 count black Aida. Love. So that is Cozy Bob by the Cozy DH. That's my only finish in the last couple of weeks. I've been here, there, and everywhere, all over the place. I've been doing a lot of knitting, actually. So let's talk about knitting next, because I'm moving into my whips. I had a migraine for several days. I'll talk more about that in the chronic illness update, but Toot has pointed out that one thing that might be contributing to my migraines or making them worse is staring at a tiny grid, which I completely agree with. So when I am having pretty bad migraine pain, because my migraines are mostly visual, not mostly visual, but they are quite triggered by visual stimuli, I should say. So I stopped cross-stitching when I was having a migraine, but of course I have to keep my hands moving and doing something, or else I'm just not myself. So I was doing some knitting. The first thing I worked on last podcast, I was talking about knitting socks. Those are still going well. I haven't actually knit any more on them because I got completely squirreled by working on Usagi. So this is the sleeve of the Usagi pullover by Harper B. I'll put a picture of what the sweater looks like. So I am knitting this for a friend of mine. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking because I'm not entirely sure how it's going to fit. I did get her to do some detailed measurements, and the method of measuring that I got her to do is the same one that I'm going to be covering in an upcoming video on basically how to get the right garments for your body. But yeah, so I've been working on this sleeve. It's going super quick. This like crescent moon shaped lace detail is actually really easy to memorize. So the pattern is by Harper B. The pattern is inspired by Sailor Moon's bed sheets, which is just, I love that as an inspiration. The yarn I'm using, this is Drops Baby Merino in the color Petrol. It's so pretty. It's just this lovely, beautiful blue. I'm going to be doing a little bit of color work on the front of the sweater in Drops Baby Merino in the color Dew, which is like a much lighter blue. And then there's going to be the sheer panel at the top, which is going to be Drops Kid Silk in jeans denim blue, I believe. Lots of blue. Blue's good. So I'm going to talk more about the sweater in the upcoming plans, but I've just been working on this. I've only got the one sleeve done. The other knitting whip that I'm really, really excited about. So if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I stopped knitting for quite a while because I was getting a lot of pain and fatigue. A lot of pain, actually. I was kind of surprised when I started doing some testing and finding out exactly what was going on with my hands. But I did do a lot of experimentation. I did a lot of research, talked to other crafters, just to try and come up with a way that I could knit that would be comfortable for me, as well as I would be able to do it for a long period of time instead of just a few minutes at a time, which is the situation I was in before. So what I did was I discovered that knitting flat is very comfortable for me. So that's great. I can knit flat. I figured out a way to knit socks flat, which fantastic. I'm so happy about that. But a lot of my existing whips were done in the round. So what I originally did, and I talked about this in the last podcast, is I was just kind of putting all those whips away and I wasn't worrying about them and I was starting fresh. And then I was thinking about them and thinking about them. And a lot of them I'm really, really excited for. So I ended up going back to my collection. And I'll show you a screenshot of my Notion database. So I went through my Notion and I basically looked at every whip that I had and figured out if I could do it flat. And the only one that was causing me problems was the field sweater. Everything else would be easy to convert to knitting flat if it wasn't already knit flat. And then there were a couple that I would have to do in the round, but I wasn't like super excited about them, so they're on the thin ice pile. I'm just not gonna think about those for right now. But the field sweater, it's stuck in my mind. It's an absolutely beautiful sweater. It's totally stunning. The yoke, I've completely finished the yoke, which was done in the round because it's a circular yoke. My original plan for this, because it's a gradient yarn, was to then continue knitting the entire sweater as a tube and steeking the sleeves out in order to maintain that gradient. That's not going to work because I don't find it comfortable to knit in the round. So I was kind of like bummed about that. So what I did was I kind of abandoned my initial plan for keeping the gradient consistent, and instead I'm going to keep the gradient consistent across the sleeves and across the front and the back. So what I did was I picked it up. So this is my field sweater. Let's see if I can get, yeah. So this is the yoke. It's so pretty. The pattern is the Field Sweater by Camilla Vad, and the yarn is Lion Brand Mandala in the colorway Chimera. This neckline is quite wide. Like you can see, it's quite wide on me. I'm probably going to unpick it and reknit it smaller, but that's a future DH problem. So what I did was I had started doing the body in the round, and I've only gotten about 2 inches in. I just like making my life more complicated. So what I did was I shifted all the stitches around. So I've got the front and the back on 2 separate lengths of barber cord. So I can just pull those out as needed. One sleeve is on a circular needle cable. This is the sleeve. Where's the other end of that circular needle cable? Go. There's the other sleeve. So it looks messy right now. But doing all of that, I then put the stitches for one sleeve on a straight needle and I knit an entire sleeve. Yeah, so that's one sleeve done. It only took me about 3 days, which is amazing. So that is one sleeve completely finished. Now the problem that I've run into is I no longer have enough yarn. I've still got most of a cake, but it doesn't start at the right point in the gradient to pick up the striping. And because I would have to purchase more yarn anyways, I'm just going to purchase more yarn and maintain the gradient instead of trying to make it work with the little bit I have left and then purchasing a smaller amount of extra yarn. So I am on the hunt for more Lion Brand Mandala and Chimera. It's incredibly hard to find in Canada, like incredibly hard to find. So I'm reaching out to American friends, and I might just have to bite the bullet and order from Lion Brand's website. because this is just such a gorgeous sweater. It's so pretty. And because I've split it in the way that I have, I was able to actually try it on, and it fits great except for this gigantic neckline. I think I just need to start doing most of my necklines as provisional and then doing them after the fact, because I'm never entirely happy with the neckline on stuff as written. And I think that is a function of how things are scaled for plus sizes, because everything is scaled at the same rate, but our body parts don't scale at the same rate. And that's something I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video as well. So I'm so happy with this, but this is going back in hibernation until I can get more yarn. However, the fact that I managed to get one sleeve done in 3 days was incredibly uplifting, reassuring. I was very happy. So this is out of whip purgatory, but now it's going back into a brief hibernation while I find more yarn for that. So that's the two things I've been working on for knitting. And then of course I've been doing a bunch of cross stitching. But first, we hydrate. All right, time for cross stitch. There's going to be a few pictures because, well, let's just get into the first one. Deadly Aquarium. This is the Deadly Aquarium Sal from Lola Crow. When I recorded the last Cozycast, the Exhibit 1 had not come out yet. It has since released and I finished it. But right now it's currently clipped up in the hoop and I don't like moving the frame. So here's a picture of Exhibit 1 all finished. I had so much fun doing this. It was really a different vibe from the rest of the stitch so far, because the frame, it's all very long lines and very like, it's very geometric, whereas this was quite dense and it was more confetti, and it just felt like a wildly different stitch, but it was a lot of fun. There was so much backstitch though. It looks great. There's just so much backstitch, and I love moray eels. I was talking to a friend about this, and they told me that when you're cruising the reef with a mouthful of teeth, that's a moray. And I haven't been able to get that out of my head whenever I look at it. Do you guys want to hear a fun side story? So that song, you know, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. I don't know if you remember, if you're old enough to remember, but at one point in the past, McDonald's offered pizza. And it was a big deal. So for the launch of their pizza, the big McDonald's in my great uncle's hometown actually contacted him, because he was like the head of the choir at the church and everything. Like, he was well known for his singing. They contacted him and asked him if he would come and sing at the grand launch of the pizza. So I, as a very small child, drove 3 towns over to eat pizza in a McDonald's while my great uncle sang "When the Moon Hits Your Eye Like a Big Pizza Pie, That's Amore" in front of a crowd of McDonald's goers. There's some DH lore for you. So Green Moray was the first exhibit. I had so much fun making it. And the second exhibit just dropped yesterday. I was actually busy for most of the day yesterday, so I didn't get very far on it. I was actually not able to start for several hours until after the clue dropped. So this is all I have done. Let's see. Heck you, son. So yeah, I've just gotten a little bit. So the next clue is the bull kelp and the pufferfish. I'm very, very excited. So all I've done is this little tiny bit of green here and this little tiny bit of green here. That's it. That's all I've gotten done. but it's about 900 stitches for this clue, so it really shouldn't take me very long. Yeah, I'm excited. The pufferfish is one of the sneak peeks that Lila Crow put out, and it looks so cute. But all the quills are done with backstitch, so that's going to be an adventure. But it'll be good. It'll be good. Also, this needle minder I stole from another project, but this is one that I made. It's one of my Lisa Frank ones. I have a couple of them. I have a couple of Lisa Frank ones left in the Etsy store if you guys are interested in that. But this is Deadly Aquarium, so I am working on this every week as the pattern drops. Each clue should take me about 3 days to do, 3 or 4 days. So it's not a ton of stitching for me because I have a ton of stitching time. But I'm really happy with it, and it's so much fun. I'm doing this stitch along obviously with everyone else who's doing the stitch along, but I'm also doing it with my friend Moon, and it's just been really fun stitching along with someone else that like I talk to daily. So it's just been a lot of fun. But yeah, there's my Deadly Aquarium. So Deadly Aquarium is the first whip that I was working on, and then the other one that took up a lot of my stitching time is now actually going back into hibernation for a little bit, and I'll tell you about that why when I get to the plans. But she is looking absolutely amazing, and this is Celtic Witch by Raven Stitchcraft. Let's see if I can pull back a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. Oh, isn't she gorgeous? I'm having like a total Pygmalion moment where it just feels like she's gonna come off the canvas and come to life. But yeah. So the pattern is by Raven Coven. It was originally charted in shades of gray and black. What I've done is actually recharted it in these warm brown tones, and instead of the black, I'm letting the Space Ada show through. And it just, she looks incredible. She looks amazing. I'm so happy. Oh, it looks so good. I actually I emailed the designer behind Raven Coven because they were offering a free pattern through their website. So it's ravencoven.com if you guys want to check it out. And in my email, I just kind of sent a whip picture of this, like, I love your patterns, here we go. And they sent me a really lovely email back about how Celtic Witch is one of their kind of less popular designs, but one that they really love. And I totally see why. It's the first one of their designs that I fell in love with. And I can't wait to get some more stitching on her done. I think I'm going to abandon my plan of like going in an orderly fashion and just finish her face. But she's so pretty. She's so pretty. Like, doing her, I almost understand the fancy ladies because they're just gorgeous. Anyway, so I got a lot done on her. This is what she looked like last time I talked to you guys. And this is what she looks like now. I just showed her, but here's another picture because I can't stop looking at it. Yeah. But she is also going into hibernation, which is why she's not in a frame right now. So that is all the whips, and I actually do have a new start. And this new start made Toot crack up yesterday. So Moon sent me a care package, and in the care package was a lot of lovely stuff. A couple of grime guards that her mom made, and some fabric that she had found at a thrift store, like really high count linen that I can just play around with. I'm super excited about doing that. And then some 16 count easy grid Zweigart, which which she picked up for me specifically for my very first full coverage piece, which is a pick to pat rendition of my favorite piece of art, The Tangled Garden by J.E.H. MacDonald. So this is the original painting. J.H. MacDonald was a member of the Group of Seven who were really influential Canadian artists around the turn of the century. The last century, not this century. really, really well known, but J.E.H. MacDonald himself was one of the lesser known members of the group of 7. But I love his work the most, just his oils and his colors and kind of it's not really chaotic, it's just very wild nature of his paintings. And I absolutely love them. So this is my favorite piece. It's called The Tangled Garden. I've had a print of this on my bedroom wall since before I was a teenager. So I used Pick to Pat to create this cross stitch pattern of it. So as you can see, I managed to retain quite a bit of the vibrancy of the piece, and some of the details. I'm really quite pleased with it, especially because it's not huge. It's 14 inches by 18 inches on the 16 count, and it's only 50 colors. So I'm really happy with that as a first full coverage piece. So I was just waiting for the Ada to start it, and the Ada came in yesterday. So I was waiting for this package from Moon. And the package arrived around 5:30 p.m. I streamed at 6:30 p.m. and I start preparing for stream about half an hour earlier. So I had about half hour between when the package arrived and when I started getting ready for stream, and I did about 80 stitches on this in that time. So like measured the Ada, set it up in the frame, grabbed my colors, and just started stitching because I was that excited. So I did a few more after stream, but there isn't a whole lot to see still. Because like I said, I only got the Ada at like 5 o'clock last night, 5:30. But here is the start of Tangled Garden. It's my first time using 16 count, my first time using Easy Grid. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to come together. And right now it doesn't look like very much because it's full coverage, and it's not going to look like very much until I get quite a bit further on. I'm slightly obsessed with this. I think if I didn't have Deadly Aquarium that I wanted to like stay on top of, I would be stitching on nothing but this for the next few days. I love it. Also, this Grime Guard is one that Mama Moon made for me. So thank you, Mama Moon. They're like little cat faces, spooky cat faces, but the further away you go, they kind of look like moths, which I love. They're spooky cat faces. So yeah, very happy with that. So yeah, so this is my new start. I love. Very excited. But that's only going to get worked on for the next few days. And that is because I have made some big plans for June. So let's throw up another title screen and roll into the plans. All right, the plans. So this podcast is going to go up on the 4th of June, 5th of June, something like that. But I am recording it on the 1st of June. And if you watched the live stream from the 31st of May, this is going to be old news to you because this is basically what I did on the live stream as I went through my crafting plans. But I have big plans. I am going to attempt to be monogamous in crafting. Monogamous in crafting. So what this means to me is I have picked one knitting project, and that is going to be Usagi, because the recipient of this, her birthday is June 30th, and if I could get an almost completed sweater by her birthday, that'd be really fun. If I don't, no stress, but when I had the idea of being monogamous for cross stitch, I was like, well, maybe I'll try and do that for knitting as well. So I'm going to work on nothing but Usagi in terms of knitting for the entire month of June. I am almost finished the first sleeve, and then I'm going to move on to the front and the back, put those together, and then make sure that the sleeve is long enough before doing the final sleeve. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I think I'm going to be able to make like a decent chunk in the month of June on that. So for knitting, that's my only plan. From now until July 1st, the only thing I'm going to be knitting on is Usagi. For cross stitch, I'm also going to be monogamous, but I have a hall pass. And my hall pass is Deadly Aquarium. because the new exhibits are dropping on a regular schedule. I believe we do have a break in June. I think like after the third exhibit, there's a break of 1 week and then we get back into it. And I want to try and keep up with that. So when the Deadly Aquarium patterns drop, I'm able to stitch on those. Otherwise, the only project I'm going to be working on in June is Those Who Wait. Why do I not have it with me, do you ask? I am going to restart it. So this is a picture of the pattern. The pattern is by Heather from Stitchwit. She very generously gave me this kit to test stitch for her. And the included Aida was a 14 count ivory Zweigart. The main color of the background is DMC 823, which is a dark navy. And I just wasn't happy with the coverage I was getting. I got about 1,000 stitches in and I was really just pushing myself to go through it but I wasn't happy with the way it was looking. So here's a picture I took. So on the top you can see the coverage on the 14 count, and on the bottom that's an 18 count oatmeal that I just had in stash. And I really liked the coverage that I was getting on the 18 count. So I'm only about 1,000 stitches in. I'm not happy with it. I don't want to keep going with it as is, but I really want the piece, and also I want to finish the test stitch for Heather. So I am restarting it on 18 count ivory Zweigart, which I'm not getting until Tuesday. So this podcast is coming out Wednesday, so I will have received it yesterday for you guys, but for me it's coming in like 4 days. So when that arrives, I will start that, and that will be the only cross stitch I work on outside of Deadly Aquarium for the rest of the month. So until I get that Zweigart, I'm going to be probably working on Tangled Garden, because it's my new obsession. I'm going to finish the Deadly Aquarium clue from this week and then work on Tangled Garden, and then I might do a couple of little samples. So if you've gone to my Etsy store, my coffee shop, you've probably seen my Tiny Horrors or my Valorant Agent minis. They look like this. They're super cute. I want to try and do Ghostface, this guy. I want to try to do Ghostface 1/1 on 28 count linen. I just think he would be super tiny and super cute. And I'm going to put one of Stu's lines underneath it that just says I'm delicate. Or no, I'm sensitive. So I think I'm going to try that. That might be a project for today. Because the minis are only about 300-400 stitches. But yeah, I think that'd be fun just playing around with it. Because like I said, Moon found a bunch of linen and Aida at a thrift shop, and we kind of split her haul. And I've never stitched on linen before, so I want to play around with it and try it out. It's not a super huge piece, like it's just little scraps, so I wouldn't be able to do a large project on it anyways, so I'm happy to just try little tiny things. So yeah, so those are the plans. So Monogamy June, Usagi is going to be my only knitting project. Those Who Wait is going to be my main cross stitch project with a haul pass for Deadly Aquarium. I just want to say the concept of a hall pass is actually like really toxic, and I don't support. It's just a funny term for my current situation with crafting. But yeah, if you are saying that you're monogamous but you also have a hall pass, that might be an issue that you want to discuss with your partner a little bit further. The other plans I have for June. So one of the members of our community, who is also a huge cross-stitch influencer, content creator, writer, author, designer, Sirithre, is running the Choose Your Own Floss adventure, which is a really cool little challenge. She's put a ton of work into it, but basically what she did was, look, it's aimed at cross-stitchers, but she's put together a list of 30 plus crafts that you can do with embroidery floss that aren't cross stitch. And the idea is during the month of June to try something new, basically learn a new craft using your existing supplies. So I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to join in. There were a couple on her list that jumped out at me. One of them is visible mending. And I've done this before in knitting, but I've never done it with floss on fabric. So the chair that I used to film my podcasts in, and the one that is my main chair now, it has a huge hole in the arm from where the cats scratched it up. So I'm going to try and visibly mend that this month using some of the techniques that Sirithre has linked to. The other one is I have a hoodie, a commercially bought hoodie that I am planning on decorating with like bits of old t-shirts and patches, and I might do some embroidery. So that's my other floss adventure, because sewing and embroidery is not something that's in my wheelhouse right now. But I'm really excited to try it out and to finally, like, I've had the stuff to do this project forever, and I think doing it with other people as part of the Choose Your Own Floss adventure might finally be the kick in the pants that I need to actually get it done. All right, let's move on to community news. So lately in the community, as always, if you want to be a part of the community, you already are just by watching this video, commenting on the videos. You can also join our Discord server, which is super fun. Great cozy atmosphere. I love waking up and seeing all the members talking to each other. It's not just me talking at people and trying to get them to interact. Like our group is just fantastic. I love them. So you can definitely check that out. On the YouTube channel, the latest video that came out last week is my sketch to stitch video. So that's just a supercut of a longer design with me stream, showing how I go from a pencil sketch to a finished stitch in terms of a design. So that was a lot of fun. I did that with the community, and a lot of questions came up during it. I'm going to be doing another design with me stream this coming Monday, I believe, by the time this goes up. So Monday the 10th, I'm going to be doing a design with me stream on YouTube and Twitch. So I hope that you will join me for that. But that was really fun. So if you're interested a little bit about how I design my cross stitch patterns and the things I think about and that kind of thing, definitely check out that video. The other announcement I have for you guys is that it is June, it's Pride Month, and to celebrate Pride Month, I have provided a freebie cross-stitch pattern in the coffee shop, and it is these really cute Pride pronoun pins, or you don't have to do them as pins. I did this one as a pin. They're Pride pronoun moths, so they're these lovely Luna moths with pronouns written on their wings. I have charted out the pronouns for she, her, he, him, she, they, she, he, they, them, and then one that just says ask me if you don't use any of those other listed pronouns as well. So each moth uses 4 shades of a given color and then black. So I've provided palettes for all 6 of the primary colors, but just the way that it's charted, you can easily swap out the colors for whatever you want. If you want to do an NB themed moth, if you want to do, like the lesbian colors, anything like that, do your favorite colors. It's a really easy pattern to adapt. It's really obvious. You just basically need a really dark color, a medium dark color, a medium color, and a light color, and away you go. So this pattern is available as a freebie. It's going to be available all year round, but you can head over to the coffee shop. I'm going to leave a link to the pattern in the description below. I would love to see what you end up stitching from this. I'm really happy with this little pattern. It's really fun. Toot did this sample for me. Their pronouns are she, they, and their favorite color is purple. So that's why this moth is purple and has she, they. We were experimenting with backstitching around the text. I would say it's not necessary unless your colors are very similar. Basically, it's up to personal preference. You can backstitch around the letters, or you can just leave them as they are, depending on how your finished product looks. So yeah, I'm very excited about this little pattern. I think it's super cute, and I really hope that you guys will enjoy it. There will be more freebies coming to the coffee shop in the future, but this one is to celebrate Pride Month, and yeah. All right, so that is all from me for today. It's a bit of a shorter one. So right about now, you will be seeing some links popping up around my head. If you hit this button, you'll subscribe to the channel. And if you hit one of these, you'll go to another one of the podcasts or another cool video. So in the meantime, my friends, I will see you in the live streams. I'll see you in the coffee shop. I'll see you in the Discord. But most importantly, I will see you in my heart. All right. Bye, guys. Bye.